Once upon a time, in a bustling city filled with tall buildings and crowded streets, there lived a 28-year-old woman named Elena. Elena was very trapped. Her life was always full of doubts and fears. All day long, different worries came and went, and these worries made her feel small and powerless. She always felt afraid to try new things and believed she could never be more than what she was. Because of these limiting beliefs, her life was like a cage. She couldn't chase her dreams, couldn't take any risks, and even forgot how to imagine a better future. The chains around her were invisible, but they felt heavier than iron. Every morning, she woke up thinking about all the things she couldn't do, all the places she couldn't go, and all the dreams that were impossible for someone like her. One day, Elena heard about a faraway village near the coast. People said that a remarkable woman lived there. That woman used to be trapped just like Elena, maybe even worse. She had lived in poverty, faced rejection after rejection, and everyone told her she would never amount to anything. She had helped many people in her life and had taught them how to break free from their invisible chains. Now she was different. She left the limiting beliefs of her past and started living a life without boundaries, close to the open sea. Sometimes she gave guidance to visitors who felt stuck. Elena became curious and hopeful. She decided that she must go and meet that woman. She thought, maybe this wise woman can help me break free from these chains. After many days of a long and uncertain journey, Elena reached the village near the coast. When she got there, she saw a simple house with no fences or walls around it. Everything felt open and free. On the open terrace of the house, the woman was standing, looking out at the endless ocean. Her posture was straight and her movements were light. She looked completely unbound, as if nothing in the world could hold her down. Elena walked up to her and said softly, "I feel trapped. I cannot break free from my fears and doubts. I want to live without these chains. Can you help me?" The woman slowly turned around and gave a warm smile. She said, "So, you want to break free? Then come with me. I will give you a small task." She took Elena to her backyard, where there was a simple wooden post stuck in the ground. Then she pulled out a thin thread, almost like a sewing thread, and gently tied it around Elena's wrist. The knot was loose, and the thread looked so delicate that it seemed it would break with the slightest pull. She looked at Elena and said, "Try to break free from this thread. Pull your hand away and break it." Elena looked at her with confusion. The thread seemed so weak, so breakable, but she wanted to understand, so she accepted the challenge. She looked down at the thin thread around her wrist and hesitated. Something inside her whispered that it wouldn't be that easy. Elena took a deep breath and tried to pull her hand away from the thread. She started pulling gently at first, but the thread seemed to hold her. She felt the weight of all her past failures pressing down on her. She remembered the job she never applied for because she thought she wasn't good enough. She thought about the business idea she never started because people said it would fail. She recalled every time someone told her to be realistic, to stay in her place, to not dream too big. But Elena could not break free. Her mind believed the thread was stronger than it looked, that breaking it would somehow prove she was wrong about herself. She tried again, pulling a little harder, but each time she felt resistance. It wasn't the thread holding her back. It was something deeper, something invisible. She tried once more, then twice more, but the thin thread remained intact. People passing by glanced at her with curious eyes, but no one interrupted. The woman watched quietly, her face calm and knowing. She knew Elena was not fighting the thread. She was fighting years of beliefs that had wrapped around her heart like heavy chains. Finally, Elena stopped, exhausted and defeated. Her shoulders dropped, and she said with a trembling voice, "I cannot do it. This thread is stronger than it looks. I'm not strong enough to break it." The woman smiled calmly and peacefully. Then she reached over, and with barely any effort, she pinched the thread between her fingers and snapped it instantly. The thread broke like it was nothing, falling to the ground in two pieces. Elena stared in complete disbelief. Her eyes were wide with shock. "How did you do that so easily? I tried so hard and couldn't break it." The woman looked into Elena's eyes and said gently, "That is the secret, something you always had inside you, but you didn't know. The thread was never strong. It had no power at all. It only held you because you believed it could. When your mind releases the beliefs that limit you, Then there is no chain, no thread, no barrier that can hold you back. She continued, you were only thinking about your past failures, about what people told you, about all the reasons you believed you couldn't. At that time, your mind created invisible chains stronger than any metal. You were trapped by yesterday's fears. You were afraid of tomorrow's failures, but none of it was real. The only prison that existed was the one you built in your mind. Slowly, Elena began to understand. The thread lying, broken on the ground, looked so fragile now, so harmless. How could she have believed it was strong? How many other chains in her life were just like this thread, weak and powerless, but holding her back only because she believed in them? Freedom is not something we are given by others. Freedom is already ours when we stop believing in our limitations. Elena looked at the woman and then back at the broken thread. Her hand was free now, but she felt something deeper had been released. She whispered, the chains were never real. They were only in my mind. The woman nodded with approval. Elena straightened her back and said with a stronger voice, now I understand. If I want to break free, I must stop believing in the limits I've placed on myself. That is when true freedom comes. For the first time in years, Elena felt light, as if a heavy weight had been lifted from her chest. The woman smiled warmly. The sun was beginning to set over the ocean, and the sky turned shades of orange and pink. Seagulls flew freely across the vast open sky, going wherever they pleased, with no barriers to stop them. The breeze was gentle and carried the smell of salt and freedom. Elena started walking back toward the road that would take her home. But now, she was not the same trapped and fearful woman who had arrived days ago. She had changed. She was free inside, because now she knew that the only chains that had ever existed were the ones she had believed in. Her steps were lighter, her head was held higher, and for the first time, she looked at the world and saw not limits, but endless possibilities. If you like the story, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories like this one. Thank you for staying with us. See you in the next story with new thoughts and new lessons. Until then, stay well, stay free, and stay limitless.